Chapter 3. Cars that refuse to die. Nutz About Cars. Storytellers. I didn't sleep much that night. Not the restless kind of not sleeping where you keep checking the clock, bargaining with tomorrow. This was quieter than that. Heavier. The kind where your body stays still, but your mind keeps walking in circles. The house was silent in a way that only happens after a life has moved through it and left its marks behind. No footsteps in the hallway, no doors opening and closing, just the soft sounds of a home that had done its job well and was now waiting for its next purpose. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about the barn, about the way the doors had opened without complaint, about how the dust didn't explode into chaos but drifted, slow and deliberate, like it understood patience better than I did. About the car, sitting there, not abandoned, not forgotten, just paused. People like to say time heals everything. I don't think that's true. Time just waits. It doesn't fix or break things on its own. It holds them exactly where they are until someone decides what comes next. That's what the car felt like, a decision that had been set down carefully instead of finished. I thought about the keys again, about what it means to leave them behind, not locked away, not hidden, still in place, as if the man who left them expected to return before the world changed too much. And I wondered, lying there in the dark, whether finding that car was an accident, or whether it had simply waited long enough for the right moment to be seen. Beside me, my wife slept peacefully. The steady rhythm of her breathing reminded me how many years we had spent building a life that belonged to other people first. How easily you forget, somewhere along the way, that you're allowed to want things again. That's when I realized the barn wasn't what was keeping me awake. It was the question underneath it. If something has waited this long, what responsibility does the person who finds it carry? I knew we were going back before either of us said it out loud. That's how it works when you've been married long enough. The conversations that matter don't always need words. Sometimes they live in the space between glances, in the way silence stretches just a little longer than usual. The barn didn't leave me alone after that first visit. It followed me into sleep, into the quiet moments of the day when your hands are busy, but your mind isn't. I kept seeing the way the tarp rested on the car, the way it had been placed with intention instead of neglect. I kept thinking about the keys, about what it meant to leave them behind, not hidden, not locked away, but waiting. My wife noticed, of course. She always does. One night, sitting at the kitchen table with the house dark around us, she set her coffee down and said, "You're not done with it." It wasn't a question. "No," I said. "I don't think I am." She nodded. Not encouraging, not warning, just acknowledging something that already existed. "Then we should go back," she said. "Together." That's how I knew this wasn't about sneaking off to chase a memory anymore. This was about finishing something honestly. The second drive out there felt different. Purpose has weight. It changes the way the road feels under your tires, the way your hands rest on the wheel. This time, I wasn't following a rumor. I was returning to a place I already knew, to a story that had already started without asking permission. She rode beside me, quiet but present. Her hand rested on her lap, relaxed. There was no tension in the car, no sense of urgency, just the steady movement of going somewhere you've already decided matters. When the barn came into view, it didn't feel like a secret anymore. It felt like a meeting place. The man was there when we arrived, waiting, not surprised. "I figured you'd come back," he said. That single sentence told me everything I needed to know. He hadn't been worried about trespassers or theft. He had been waiting for the right kind of return. We didn't dance around it. "I didn't come the first time to make an offer," I said. "I came to understand what I was looking at. This time, I came to talk." He nodded slowly. the way men do when they appreciate honesty, even if it complicates things. We opened the barn together. No hesitation now, no guilt. The chain slid free, the doors swung wide, and the light fell inside the same way it always had. Dust rose, then settled, as if the space recognized us. The car waited. Covered, yes, but not hidden. I stepped closer this time, without the careful reverence of a trespasser. I lifted the tarp fully, folding it instead of letting it fall. And standing there, with the whole shape of it finally visible, I felt the difference between curiosity and clarity. A 1969 AMC Javelin. Not just any muscle car. Not a name people toss around casually. This was American Motors stepping into the fight without apology. A company that never had the deepest pockets, never played the loudest game, but showed up anyway. I had grown up Kenosha in the shadows of the manufacturing plant. I knew what that plant meant. I knew what it felt like to watch cars roll out that represented more than profit. They represented pride, work, belief, a sense that the people building them mattered just as much as the people driving them. This car wasn't built to show off, I said quietly. It was built to prove something. The man smiled at that. A small one. Personal. My father used to say the same thing, he replied. He told us more this time. Not rushed, not defensive. Stories about the line, about the pride of seeing something you worked on take its first breath in daylight, about driving the Javelin home after retirement like it was a trophy he hadn't known he was earning all along. He never stopped loving it, the man said. He just ran out of time. We stood there together, the three of us, looking at the car not as an object, but as a marker, a life. A decision paused instead of finished. The keys came out again. This time, they didn't just hover between us. I can't keep coming back forever, he said. And I can't watch it disappear into a collection either. He looked at my wife, then back at me. If you take it, he continued, you take the story with it. You don't erase it. I didn't answer right away. Some moments deserve space. My wife stepped closer to the car, ran her hand gently along the fender, not possessive, respectful. We wouldn't rush it, she said. We wouldn't turn it into something it isn't. That was when I realized something important. This wasn't me asking for permission anymore. This was us offering stewardship. Bringing the car home didn't feel like a victory lap. It felt like responsibility changing hands carefully. We took our time. We planned. We talked about where it would live, how it would be treated, what it would mean, not just to me, but to us. The day it arrived, the garage looked different. Not fuller, purposeful. We didn't tear into it, didn't start a project list, didn't make promises about timelines or restorations. We just stood there, together, looking at it in our space. The kids called later, curious, happy, supportive in that way grown children are when they see their parents doing something for themselves at last. That night, the house felt warmer, quieter in a good way, the kind of quiet that holds contentment instead of absence. We talked longer than usual, about the years behind us, about the years ahead, about how much of ourselves we had poured into raising a family, and how easy it is to forget that you're allowed to rediscover each other once that chapter changes shape. The car didn't interrupt our lives. It gave us something to share again. Morning came softly. I woke before her and walked to the window without turning on any lights. The driveway sat below, still and peaceful, the Javelin resting where we'd placed it the night before. Not displayed, not hidden, just present. Behind me, I felt movement. She joined me at the window, fully awake now, wrapped in the comfort of familiarity and warmth. She leaned into me without thinking, the way you do when closeness no longer needs explanation. We stood there together, looking down at the car, not at the paint, not at the lines, at what it represented. "You know," she said, "it didn't just bring a car home." I nodded. "It brought you back to yourself," she continued, "and it brought us back to each other." I wrapped an arm around her shoulders, feeling the truth of it settle in quietly. No fanfare, no declarations, just recognition. Some cars refuse to die because someone refuses to forget them. And some stories don't end with a key turning in an ignition. They end with two people standing together, looking at something they didn't realize they needed until it reminded them who they were and who they still are. Sometimes I catch my wife standing at the bedroom window in the early morning or late at night, just looking down at the car sitting quietly in the driveway. She's not studying it. She's not planning anything. She's just there, still, lost in her own thoughts. I don't interrupt her. I don't ask what she's thinking about, because I know it's not really about the car. It's about time, about the roads we've already traveled, about the ones still ahead of us, and maybe, in some quiet way, about the strange gift that came into our lives and reminded us that even after everything we've built, there are still moments meant just for us.